Story time. How we started a $50 million consulting business in my basement with absolutely nothing but an idea and a domain name. I'm going to share with you exactly how my co-founder and I started a industry-leading consulting firm, international consulting firm, that we weren't wearing $80,000 suits and walking into corporations and consulting corporations. This was consulting everyday people. This was a business we started from nothing. And I'll tell you exactly how it happened. My good friend at the time, who I was working with in radio, had sold a very small business. He sold this business where he cleaned, well, he didn't physically clean, but he had a pool cleaning business in Arizona. And the way those businesses work is they're routes. It's a route, and you have this location and thousands or hundreds of other locations, and you assemble them together in a route. And those people on the route pay you a certain amount of money every month, and for that amount of money they get pool cleaning services. And then your pool guy comes out and maybe he's got to replace the filter, or he's got to fix something. Well, then those fees and those charges are extra. But your business is always in great shape because of continuity. And the continuity, that means monthly payments, like your electric bill, like your phone bill, make it a magical business to be in. Any business where it's a route, like a pesticide business, or a pest control business, I should say, a pool cleaning business, anything, landscaping, lawn mowing, where it's year-round, those are great businesses. So my friend had one of those businesses in Arizona, and he sold it. And he came to visit. I had him over to my house for his birthday, and I took him to a comedy show to see Adam Carolla. This was about this time of year, nearly 13 years ago. And I said, what are you going to do next? And he said, I don't know. I've got some ideas. And I said, well, what are you thinking about? And he rattled off a list of domain names. And one of the domain names was nomadcapitalist.com. And I said, that's it. I said, but what does that mean? And he said, well, I want to travel, and I like traveling. And I like getting second and third passports. And I like starting businesses and establishing investments in other countries. And I was like, wow, this is fascinating to me. I said, okay. And that's what being a nomad capitalist. He said, yeah. I said, well, you should do that and build your business around it at nomadcapitalist.com. And we sat down with a whiteboard in my garage at the time. It was an office garage, or garage office. And we mapped out together the course that would take him, the course of action, not a course, we weren't selling courses, the course of action that would take him from this ideation of, I'm going to do it, to how would it work and how would people become clients and followers of Nomad Capitalist. And in the beginning, it was a very different model, and one that was like a lot of other people in the consulting space or in the online information space and marketing space, where you market services or information to people online. You have a ceiling on how much money you can make and how much you can scale without going crazy. You start having events and writing ebooks and things like that, and you can only make so much money, and the headache keeps going up, up, up. And he started to do well and make good money, and we designed a plan for him to demonstrate to his target audience what he was doing so that they could also do it. And I call this, there's a phrase that I use about this called create the things you wish existed. Imagine that you are Magellan or Christopher Columbus or Leif Erikson, and you are traversing a wild array of land, sea, water, the elements, and you're going to figure out how to get to the top of the mountain or the other side of the planet, or another planet if you're Elon Musk. And once you accomplish, imagine it's a mountain, and once you get to level 1, next step is to learn how to get to level 2. And when you get to level 2, obviously you want to get to the top of the mountain, but first you got to get to level 2. And when you get to level 2, you know a lot about getting to level 1 and level 2. And so you can throw the ladder down for everybody else and show them exactly how you got to level 1, and then show them how you got to level 2. And every time you get to the next level on the mountain, you can show and demonstrate to the people that are following you, that you've attracted, how they can get to where you've gotten. And now you're figuring out how to get to the next. You're on to the next and on to the next. It's creating the things you wish existed, because when you did it, Elon or Leaf or Christopher Columbus, when you did it, nobody was there to show you how to do it. You had to figure it out all by yourself. And if you knew the things that you know now back then, you would have done these things differently. And so you can create a cheat sheet, and you can create, these different products that help people get to where they want to go. You create the things you wish existed. The ultimate example for me of creating the things that you wish existed is my kids. They're 4 individuals, 4 people, 4 human beings that are everything about being a human being that I hold as important, the values that I embody and my family embodies. And so the ultimate creation is creating them and co-creating them with their mother and God, and then bringing them up. So to me, that's the best example. The next best example maybe is other things like organizations or information or movements. And so you have, and my friend had the opportunity to create the thing that he wished existed. And at the time, there was no leader in the space. We created the space. And we turned that into another version of that business. A version which, instead of meddling around making 6 figures every year and being really overwhelmed with events and low-end customers that were just tough to deal with in the beginning, event attendees and logistics and the things that were happening at the event, there's nothing wrong with low-ticket customers. It's just that when there's low-ticket customers, there's more of them. And when there's more of them, you're going to have some customers that aren't too fun to deal with. And so you got to get crystal clear about who you want to deal with and who your ideal customer is. Who's your dream customer? And that's what we did. And we redesigned that business so that it was on track to do $100,000 months, $200,000 months, $500,000 months, $1 million months, without the headaches and the trappings of all of the previous design of that business. And it worked just like magic. And the business grew very rapidly. And when you start to make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in a month, and your expenses are low, and you manage your costs, and you know some of these strategies and tactics to maximize revenue, you don't need a bunch of new customers to do it necessarily. You just need enough of the right customers to do it. And when that kind of money's coming in, the multiples very quickly value the business upwards of $50 million, which, if we went back in time and I sat down with my friend in 2011 or 2012, and I said, this is going to be a $50 to $100 million business, he would not have seen the vision that I saw. But when I see a forest, I don't just see trees. I see all the possibilities when I'm really keyed into an idea. And I got really keyed into this one. I can see the coffee tables that we're going to make from the trees. I can see the people sitting at the coffee table that we're going to make from the trees. And that's what we did with this business to get it from making $70,000 to $150,000 a year to making some days $500,000 in one day. I've thought a lot about the structure of this business. It's not right for every business. It doesn't work for every business. It really works for consulting businesses, business-to-business consulting firms, and one-to-many consulting firms, or one-on-one consulting firms for individuals, where the work that is done for the client is very specific, very customized. But this doesn't necessarily work for like restaurants or plumbers. The client getting strategies do. But I thought, if there's some other businesses out there that are in the consulting space, a different vertical, maybe where you consult people on something very specific, and you're over meddling in the middle, the mushy middle, and figuring, it's great to make six figures in your business, but wouldn't it be great if the business made and created a life of freedom for you, and you could help more people with what you do for them? So I'm looking and considering holding an event here for just a small group of people in Chicago, where I take you through exactly what we did from day one to the big day when we started doing six-figure months and seven-figure months in that business, and mapping out for you exactly, precisely, the business structure that we used, the sales strategy we used, the marketing strategy that we used, and the content strategy that we used to get this business from idea to being the leader in that space. This isn't for everybody, and it's going to depend on who's interested. But we're going to do it in a small group in Chicago, probably November-ish, December-ish, and we're looking for the right mix of business professionals with integrity, people that I can see working with once and maybe repeatedly, and people that I can see an audience following, an audience of clients, an audience of future versions of themselves. And if that's you, if you have a consulting business that's meddling in the mushy middle and ready to get to the next level, and you want to spend a few days in Chicago with a couple other like-minded business professionals and myself, mapping out the plan to get you to that next level and your business to the next level and your clients across the finish line, more of the right kind of clients, then I would love for you to reach out to me at the link in my bio. And if that's not you, but you see value in this business idea for somebody else, and this story, this transformation story for somebody else, I hope that you'll share this video with them so they might be able to absorb it, maybe use it, and maybe one day they'll want to come to Chicago and spend some time with us and go through the process and transform their life and their business into one that serves them and serves their customers like nobody else in the space. That's what's going to make you the leader in your vertical. That's what's going to make you the de facto go-to in your niche. I hope this video and story was somewhat helpful to you, even if it's not for you. And if it is for you, and you think this might be a fit, and you'd like to be a part of this very special few days in Chicago, I would love to talk more about it with you. And there's a link in my bio where you can contact my team, and we will be in touch. Until next time, thanks for watching. I'm Matt Dubiel, and I approve this message. Have a great day.